For years, graffiti and street art was seen as an eyesore and a problem by many. However, with the likes of Banksy, graffiti is going through a revolution and many more people are interested in the art form. Even those that still dislike graffiti would struggle not to smile at the works of art on show in this video.
Amazing!
Graffiti's roots as a counterculture are clearly on show with this humorous parody of a blank advertising space. Unfortunately for the artist, it's very easy to imagine this actually inspiring a marketing company to use it as some sort of minimalist advert. Sometimes a conveniently placed patch of weed isn't worth destroying. Just like this example, a simple lick of paint on this drain transforms the unkept pavement into a creative pineapple. What happens when you get a huge billboard criminalizing the art of graffiti? You also get a bunch of angry men with bags full of spray paint, so it's only right that they deface the very thing that's telling them to stop defacing things. Anyone who remembers this guy from Microsoft Word probably also remembers the useless stuff he offered to help out with. In my opinion, he should just stick to being a paperclip. Complete with that beautiful sense of irony that graffiti is often associated with. This one's up there with my favourite bits of slogan graffiti. This piece of art really makes the most of the electric box and might just make your walk to work that little bit happier. Slogans are the graffiti artist's best friend. While this is something I can imagine seeing printed on a really terrible t-shirt, there's something amazing about this when it's spray painted onto the side of a wall. The fact that people look down on graffiti for years really does confuse me with works of art like this in the world. You clearly have to be quite a smart person to come up with wordplay like this. This piece by Banksy is so simple, but works extremely well. At first, some might see a freestanding tree, others, on the other hand, see a half-developed ostrich, requiring a neck and head. This piece of graffiti really is quite genius. I like to look at this and imagine this isn't actually a modern piece of work, but is in part of William Shakespeare's early notes, while he was writing his famous play, Hamlet. It's not clear whether these are two separate pieces of graffiti, or one complete piece, though it is safe to say they would both be pretty terrible without one another. But together, this really does create one of the smartest applications of advice people give to each other. While many pieces of graffiti rely on their visual aesthetic, this one is another great use of humour to make what really is a piece of substandard handwriting become so much more than that. I can also imagine a Twitter campaign such as #JusticeForBill posters being a thing as a result of this. Much to the delight of Bart Simpson, Sideshow Bob has been detained in this piece created by French artist Oak Oak. The mystery of why those bars were needed in the wall anyway remains. Again, there is a beautiful sense of irony to this one. A blank wall is a gift to any graffiti artist, and this comedian has apologised for defacing it by the medium of defacing a wall. This huge piece by Polish artist Natalie Rack is pretty phenomenal, showing a girl in traditional Polish outfit. Its detail and interplay with the tree in the foreground is stunning. These people evidently didn't learn a thing from those who put up the "graffiti is a crime" billboard. Putting up an advert that is anti-graffiti in any sense is basically asking for it to be vandalised, although this one does have a beautiful sense of irony to it. The artist of this piece ingeniously uses the environment to visualise Mario's favourite method of transportation in a real-world setting. Anyone who's watched The Simpsons will recognise the writing lines scene from the show's opening intro. You'll probably also appreciate the irony of this piece. When I think of wordplay-based graffiti, this is the piece that immediately springs to mind. There's something about the reference to MC Hammer's 90s classic that you just can't help but smile at. There are a few things less interesting, but more essential than a trip to the toilet. But this little character is bound to put a smile on anyone's face. Just don't let other people in the toilet think you're smiling at the size of their genitals. If anything is clear by now, It's that people that own spray paint don't like being told what to do, especially when it's by a huge advert. So when somebody decided it was a good idea to start a social movement to get people to be more polite to each other, it was only ever going to backfire. I've been talking about irony a lot, but this piece of art really does have irony written all over it. This clever list of things the artist supposedly hates, but manages to use all of, is really one of the most thought out pieces in this video. This naughty piece is both simple and effective. Mind you, it needs some maintenance, unless you're satisfied with a full-on beaver. If I was a company who wanted to make a point without being undermined through humour, a billboard isn't the place to go, but for some reason people still do it. Although, in fairness, I imagine they were happy to see their point proved right. There's nothing to smile about when you see a real stab victim, but this is a very clever use of what, for most people, is something you might accidentally walk into. The famous Clash lyric is used cleverly here, and the visual humour is very strong with whoever is behind this piece. Toilet graffiti can often be, quite literally, just a load of crap sprayed on the walls, but this play on Drake's album cover would leave you smiling even in your moment of sheer desperation. Hinting to the brilliant game Line Rider, Oak Oak recreates another amazing urban spin-off. If you remember seeing afros when you were a child, you may remember being filled with a sense of excitement for how crazy the hairstyle appears, and for me at least, this bit of graffiti recaptures that feeling by utilising the bush above that wall. Many people have tried to utilise drain covers in their graffiti, but I would argue that few do as good a job as this. Not the edgiest or most groundbreaking piece of graffiti you're ever going to see, you just can't help but smile when you see this cute little character. The only thing not ticked off here is a good idea, but I'm pretty sure that whoever is behind this really can tick that one off. Where most people simply see lines dedicated to separating rows of traffic, one person had an eye to turn this into a large-scale cutting line. Although I'd hate to be driving down that road when someone comes along with a pair of scissors that big. This is a genius use of a bollard that has been bent. There's something about this that you can't help but smile at. Unless, of course, you're the person that hit that bollard with your car. I don't know about you, but I sense that there's something about toilet walls that cry out for them to have things written on them by what are usually very drunk people. But this one rounds off the video nicely, with a very amusing review of the toilet, on what I can only imagine, if it was a website, would be called Toilet TripAdvisor. Any of the bits of graffiti in this video make you smile the most? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, you should watch our video on the best public sculptures in the world. You can view it by clicking this box here. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to be amazed.